everybody, if you guys put number 4 right here in your journal, make sure you have those notes as far as how to write things in slope-intercept form and point-slope form. If we look at this right here, we say 3x minus 2y plus 6 equals 0. Does that look anything close to y equals mx plus b? It's pretty far away. Would you agree? Pretty far away. What does this look like, though? How close are we to something we just dealt with? This is pretty close to what form? This is pretty close to this form that we just dealt with called standard form, okay? So right now in your journal, this is problem number 4, okay? Right here it says we needed to, make sure we read the instructions. It says, state the slope and the y-intercept of the graph of each equation, right? The slope and the y-intercept. Now, we're going to do this 2 different ways. And you can determine on your own the way that you want to solve things that look like they're in standard form and you need to change them to slope-intercept form. So I'm going to give you guys freedom. But right now, we're pretty close to standard form. So could you, right now, what's the only thing I would have to do to change this to make it to standard form? Only one step. Got to get rid of this. We got to take this 6 and we got to move it across. Now, whatever happens to a number whenever you move it across the equal sign, this changes signs. It just becomes the opposite. So if I take this guy right here, instead of saying this, instead of saying minus 6 from both sides, if you just know that whenever it moves across the equal sign, it just becomes its opposite, you can say 3x minus 2y equals negative 6. And that part, you'd be done. Right now, we're in what? We're in standard form. This is the equation right here in standard form. What's my a value? 3. What's the b value? And my c is negative 6. Now, do you guys remember this thing called slope? I told you there was a formula if it's in standard form. What was the slope of a line if it's in standard form? Do you remember that? Check your journal, see if you remember it. Okay, that was x-intercept and the y-intercept. You guys should have it in your journal. Look in your journal right now, pause it. Negative a over b. Excellent. Negative a over b. So, if you have this, and you have everything in standard form already, what could we do? We could say negative, and what am I going to plug in for my a value? 3. Over b, what's my b value? Negative 2. And automatically, what do I get as my slope? And you're done. You just found your slope. Using the formula we just talked about a few days ago that was in standard form. I'm not saying some of you may not be comfortable with this, all right? But this is something you can do if it's in standard form. Now, the other thing we talked about, there's a formula only for the y-intercept if you're in standard form. What's the formula for the y-intercept? It was c over b. C over b. So our c value in this case is a what? Negative 6. Our b value is a negative 2. And negative 6 divided by negative 2 gets us 3. So if I said, tell me what the slope is, what is our slope? 3 over 2. What is the y-intercept? It's at a 3. And it says state the slope and the y-intercept. This is the slope and the y-intercept. Now, the form y equals mx plus b, what do they call that form? This is called what form? Slope what? Slope intercept. All right? And why do you think they call it slope intercept form? That's right, because you have the slope and you have the y-intercept. They don't call it oogly-boogly form, all right? That wouldn't make any sense, all right? They call it slope-intercept because the first part tells you you have the slope, and the second part tells you you have an what? You have an intercept, but more specifically, it's the y-intercept. So how would we write this equation if I told you write the equation?
Y equals 3 over 2x plus 3.
There you go. Y equals 3 over 2x plus 3. So that would be the equation. This would be the stating the slope and the y-intercept. Whenever you guys state the slope on your paper or state the y-intercept, I want you not to write words. I want you to write a letter M for slope, and a letter lowercase b for your y-intercept. Okay? All right, the more traditional way that you guys are used to solving for slope-intercept form is solving for your y variable. That's what you're used to doing, okay? So, for those of you who look at this, you probably weren't thinking about using standard form. What were you thinking about doing? You were thinking about probably isolating your what? Getting your y value, that was awful. All right, that's all those. Getting your y value by yourself. So isolate the what? Isolate the y variable. All right? Which means get all the y's by themselves. Well, right now, if you were a negative 2y, Nick, all right, you're a negative 2y, and I told you, all right, Nick, it's time for you to be by yourself, make your friends go home. Who are your friends in this particular circumstance? The 3x and the 6. So I say, Nick, make your friends go home. How could you get rid of one of your friends? Which one do you want to get rid of first? All right, I didn't like him either. All right, so we're going to take away this 6 from this side over here and from over here. All right, what are we going to do with 3x? Subtract 3x. Okay, we're going to get rid of, I don't like that guy either. All right, so now. So we subtract 3x and we subtract the 6 from both sides. That zeroes out. This zeroes out. Yes?
Add 2y to the other side.
You know what? I like that even better. All right, yes, you could do that. All right, because how about this? I'm going to put this right here, and then I'm going to do what you did, so that that's probably even easier. All right. So right here, what do we have? We have a what? We have a negative 2y, right? Equals a negative 3x minus, I'll put it in blue, minus 6. All right? But let me put the negative 3x in green. All right. Now, Austin made a suggestion. All right? So instead of having negative 2y equals negative 3x minus 6, and what would we have to do throughout the whole thing? We have to divide everything by a negative 2. All right? And you would get y equals 3 over 2x plus 3. And that would be your answer in slope-intercept form. Austin's suggestion was, wait a second. Couldn't you just take the 2y and add the 2y to both sides? And I would say, yes, I totally agree. Now, what would he be left with? He'd be left with 3x plus 6 equals a positive 2y. But I'm going to rearrange it. Put 2y equals 3x plus 6. So, Nick, I guess what could happen, if you wanted to isolate the y, you could just leave. So instead of making your friends leave, you could say, you know what, I'm going to leave and move over here. Now I'm isolated. And what was the benefit of moving the y values across? Everything's positive. Okay? Now, sometimes students they pause at the idea because they don't like, somehow, for some reason, they don't like getting the y values on the right-hand side, but that's easily fixable. All we have to do is just turn it back around, right? For example, this is A equals B, then B equals A, all right? It's like the reflexive property, okay? And then, once again, all you have to do is do what? Divide everything by a 2. And y equals 3 over 2x plus 3. Now, that's your answer, but what form are we in now? When it says y equals form, what form are we in? Slope-intercept. So when I say state the slope and the y-intercept, you have to know how to interpret y equals mx plus b. Now, if this is a foreign concept, and you're like, this is something that I just will never get, that's okay. There's developmental math courses at your local university, all right, and they will gladly teach you this exact same process. All right, for enjoy small feat. Okay? Alright? When I say small feat, it will be thousands of dollars but you still have to buy the book. Alright? And do the homework and listen to a teacher that may possibly be not as nice as me. Alright? So, that's up to you. If you don't want to learn this, you don't have to. You can just say, my high school teacher didn't teach me anything. Alright? And they'll say, it's okay. Come over here to this developmental math course. We'll help you out. Alright? Oh, I'm recording. I want to make sure that's good. Alright, we're going to move down here to number 11. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to put this set of ordered pairs in the slope-intercept form, but we're also going to teach you point-slope form as well. Alright? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this ordered pair right here. Alright? And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the slope. I've just pre-labeled everything. So if you need to catch up, you can just pause me and then catch back up. Alright? By the way, you guys know what the Papa Tomato said to the baby tomato when he was lagging behind? He said, hey buddy, catch up. He slammed him on the head. I know. Horrible jokes every day. So, right here, what's my Y2 value? 8. What's my Y1 value? Negative 4. Once again, people, the reason why we do this is so that we know when we need to change those negatives into positive. So we have an 8 plus a 4. Alright? And then, what's my x2 value? Scan up there. X2 is 1. By the way, when you see Baylin, let her know there's videos online she can watch. She's not here today, okay? Alright? And my x1 value is? Nope.
No.
Yes! Good job. By the way, what your brain was following, right? It was just it was working its way across right over here, right? Okay, good. Now, by the way, you see what I did up here, where I changed those negatives to a positive? What am I going to do now here? That's right, we're going to say, hey, look here, people. Right there, that changes to a positive for us with a what? 1 plus a 2. Alright? And automatically we get 12 over 3, which gets us a slope of 4. So right now, your slope of this line is equal to 4. Alright? Now, what I want you guys to do right now is we are now going to use slope-intercept form to solve this problem. So right now, in your journal, you're going to practice using slope-intercept form. What did we just find? We found the slope. So what I want you guys to do, the first thing when you use slope-intercept form, plug the slope in, everybody. Say y equals 4x plus b. Okay? All right, which ordered pair do we want to use? 1, 8. So we're going to put 1, 8. I want you to label the 1 your x value, the 8 your y value. I'm going to color in the x value in blue. I'm going to color in the y value in red. If the y value says 8, take your 8 and plug it in there. If the x value right here is blue, take your x value and plug it in there. And what you're going to get is you're going to get 8 equals our slope of 4 that we have here times 1 plus b. Now what are we solving for right now? We're solving for our b, our y-intercept. That's what we're doing. But in order to solve for your y-intercept, you have to plug in a what? An x value and plug in a y value. Alright? So right here we have an 8 equals 4 times 1 plus b. Once again, I want to write for those of you who are listening. That's your y-intercept. So what's our only step that we have to do now? Just subtract 4. You're right. Just subtract 4 from both sides. And you're left 4 is equal to your b. This is kind of confusing. What was our slope? The number 4. What was our y-intercept? 4. The number 4. So if I said write this in slope-intercept form, it would be 4x plus a 4. Now let me tell you something. Before you guys finish this problem, turn on your graphing calculators. Hit y equals real quick. All right, to check your answer in your graphing calculator, type in 4x plus 4. Then check your table. Hit second graph. And you should have a negative 1, 8 and negative 2, negative 4. There they are.